She's been doing this for over 40-something years. She holds a PhD from the International Institute of Integral Human Sciences. And last but not least, she is a child and a daughter of New Orleans, Louisiana. And my elder, Yeye Luisah Teish.
Whoa. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is sit my old ass down. Hold on. That's the first thing. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. Now, y'all know I'm a child of Oshun, and Oshun has been accused of being vain, right? I accept that accusation.
It is what it is.
I really do.
It is what it is.
And it is reinforced by what I'm looking at in this audience. Okay? Y'all are gorgeous. You know, don't let nobody fool you. Okay? I was telling somebody over there, how many of you know the movie Daughters of the Dust? Have you seen it? Okay? Well, when Daughters of the Dust first came out, there was a fool who reviews movies for the San Francisco Chronicle. And he said two things that made me have to jump knee deep in his ass. Okay? The first thing, he said the Gullah Islands did not exist. That she was just making it up. And I said the only reason you don't know it exists is because we've never gone to war with them. You only know geography when we go to war with people. Okay, that's the first thing. And the second thing he said, this movie was just an excuse to show a bunch of beautiful black women in white clothes. And I said, I stand accused. Nola contendra, baby. Yes, yes. And you all remind me of that, you know, the diversity of beauty that is in this tent is reflective of the richness of Oshun. You know, I accept the accusation. I really, really do, and I'm glad y'all are taking lots of pictures because if you have a photo of each other, I want you to take the best one and blow it up and put it right near your mirror, okay? Because my vision, what I foresee, and one of the things we have to be careful of, is that there is a conspiracy to take you down. There's a plan for people to be hungry. There's a plan for people to be sick, unemployed, frightened, and made to think that you are less than you are. Okay. I went to Mao Shun, Ibukole, with this and said, oh yeah, you know, they're messing with the grain, the food is expensive, rent is going up, they're gentrifying the neighborhood, they're experimenting with people with vaccines, and all kinds of crazy stuff is happening. I'm worried that folks are going to be depressed and dropping dead and so on. And she said, not in my village. Not in my village. You know. So I've been telling everybody, make sure you have food, water, medicine, shelter, and a community of people who can keep your spirits lifted. Okay? I'm suspicious Oshun. Have you noticed, have you all noticed that lately there have been advertisements that say, people under 65 should be tested for anxiety. Have you noticed that? Why? Okay. Why should people under 65 be tested for anxiety? I see two things there. Number one, they finna sell you some bullshit. They finna say, you got anxiety. Okay, swallow this pill, buy this bullshit, and you won't be anxious enough to do something about the things that are making you anxious. Okay? And then anybody over 65 who are on Social Security, which they're about to try to cut, they don't care if you die from anxiety or anything else. So I have learned, I've lived long enough now to be suspicious and to see, and what they said wasn't true now gets confessed 20 years later. I'm 74, y'all. I've seen that happen. I've seen us be manipulated into various kinds of suffering, right? And when I took it to Oshun, she said, not in my village, because you're going to let people know what's going on. So, perhaps you have heard, like here, Luisah Teish walks in and people say, oh, our elder is here. Oh, we're so happy you're here. And I walk in other places and they say, here come that bitch. She come. Nola contendra, baby, I accept it. Nola contendra, right? But that's what time it is. And gatherings like this, where we are proud of ourselves and each other, proud of all the aspects of our culture, willing to share among us. You all are members of an endangered species. I want you to feel that for a minute. You're members of an endangered species, and you must take care of each other. Absolutely. You must take care of each other. So I promised that I was going to tell a story, but I'm trying to figure out which one.
Oh, you got plenty. And I only heard like 1/100th of the stories you got to tell. When y'all get around, y'all think we be having drama? Oh, they got some old tea. They be old tea. Oh, in the shade, today. Like me and my gossipers and my peers, we be calling it Real Housewives of Eli Shade. Jesus. It's real. Ain't no drama, auntie drama, okay? So we have a group of black folks of different gender identities and ethnicities and age groups. And what will be like the first? Talk a little bit about your journey. How do you got here? And we talk about it in jambalaya. So. You are definitely a spirit woman. You've been called to many places to call. Like, and you talk about She Who Whispers, right, in jambalaya. And so you heard, but it's like, I know, people are always asking, how do I know? How do I talk to my egun? How do I know they're listening to me? How do I talk to my ancestors? Can you share and elaborate a little bit about that?
Yeah. The first thing you got to do is, the Buddhists have a thing called monkey mind. Y'all know about monkey mind?
Yeah.
Monkey mind go like this. Oh, Chantrell said that we're supposed to talk to Yeye about our ancestors. Now, what does that mean that she said that? I don't know what to say to her. I don't know nothing about my ancestors. My ancestors, who the hell are my ancestors anyway? You have to shut that shit down. Okay? You have to take a minute, be quiet, breathe, right? And listen. Since Jambalaya was published, I have had numerous people come up to me and say, after I read Jambalaya, I realized I have a She Who Whispers. Everybody has one, but we have been trained to shut it down, okay? We have been taught that one of the bad things about Western culture is they only talk about the whispering voice when it's Son of Sam or some maniac. If you're receiving information and it ain't criminal, then you're crazy. That's insane, isn't it? the person who is listening to the voice of their ancestors and have nerve enough to say, I received information in a dream, or I was in meditation and I received, and you say that to the wrong people, they send the white coats after you. That's why you have to have community, you have to have everybody, you have to have other people that you can talk to about your experience without suppressing your emotion, okay? So let's talk about getting in touch with the ancestors. They ain't never left you. That's the first thing. First of all, you need to know that they are in your physical DNA. They are in your physical DNA. Every woman in this tent who still has eggs in her ovaries, those are your mother's eggs. Can we be clear about that? Okay. It is true on a physical level. All right? In terms of our emotions, you inherit an emotional ecosystem from your lineage, your family. Okay? We have a cultural ecosystem that we live in where the stories and the symbols, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, you respond to them. Okay? The thoughts and the feelings of your ancestors are all around you and all in you. You just have to shut the noise out so that you can hear them. And you have to overcome, you have to decolonize your mind. Let me say that again. We have to decolonize our minds, because we have our natural intelligence, our native intelligence, and they done layered this shit on top of it. Just patted it in place, smoothed it over, and made you think that it's yours. And it's not yours. You just gotta clean it away and you can hear it. The best way to do this is to research as much as you can, both objectively and subjectively, the stories of your ancestors. Okay? Okay? Objectively, go look at the records, go find out the names, go do all of that. Okay? Most black people, you're gonna run into a block at 1780. Okay, you won't be, but I got news for you. I know a very aware white woman who has a website called Reparations Number 4 for Slavery. And what she does on that website is she shows black people how to research the records of white slave owners so that you can find your people. Beyond 1780, reparations for slavery. I belong to an organization where I'm standing in a room. On this side of the room, I have the descendants of the formerly enslaved, and on this side of the room, I have the descendants of the people who owned them. Okay? And we are doing material and spiritual reparations. Okay? Because what the white people found out was that in order to have the money, they had to sacrifice their souls. They had to become soulless beasts in order to do that. And they know what they've inherited. And these are people who are given money and land to make up for that, okay? So that's the material piece of it. You need to know the stories of what's going on. The non-material piece of it is you have to be open to the ancestors talking to you in dreams, in meditation. You have to be willing to hear what they are saying to you. And here's a warning. If you decide that you're going to be the one to do the ancestor work, you're going to end up cleaning up the mess for your whole family. You know, take it on, accept the responsibility. It's deep work.
Yes, it is.
You are the one. You're the one. Okay? at a time in my life when I was complaining, honey. Oh, I got 25 God kids in my elect. I ain't got no personal time. They got me running all that. Soul American, right? And I flew down to LA to talk to the lay-by priestess. I stepped in the door, and she looked at me before I could say anything. She said, no. Why is the lay-by meeting me at the door with the word no? No, she said. Yeah, she said, you get no sympathy from me. She said, see all this shit you about to complain about? You agreed to that before your spirit took a body. You agreed to be the one who's going to bring on the change. You agreed to be the cleanup woman. So you can't always expect a lot of sympathy from your family members. And that's all right. That's all right. You just have to learn how to be subversive. If you go and ask grandma about the lineage and she don't want to talk, it's because she's afraid of your judgment. She's afraid that you ain't gonna understand what they were faced with at the time. And you're gonna have a judgment about what they did, okay? Also, certain information is missing, and they're embarrassed that they can't answer your question, okay? So there's two things you do there. You shut up and listen. You ask a question, and then you write down or you remember whatever they say, because in there are little gems, and if you follow it, you will get some information. The other thing, and I want y'all to hear me really clearly with this one. You having trouble getting family members to tell you certain things. Stop bugging them, right? And go to your ancestor shrine and say, I need to know such and such a thing. Please, cause them to tell me what I need to know. And when they start having dreams, and when they start finding stuff out, and they start coming forward and telling you, pretend you don't know. Oh, really? Wow. That's amazing. Isn't that something? You know, a lot can get done if you don't care who gets credit for it. All right? A lot can get done if you don't care who gets credit for it, because the truth of the matter is the ancestor gets the credit. They deserve it. They're the ones who brought it forth, you know. So here I am. Y'all know that my grandmother's house, 1022 St. Anne Street, used to be the home of Marie Laveau, right down the street from the gate of Congo Square, right? So here I am, a little nappy-headed black girl with a grandma who thinks I'm a demon. Maybe I was. But I was the one who was perceiving all the mystery, you know. I was the one who saw the dog born with 3 legs and red eyes who howled when somebody was dying. Everybody else just thought the dog was making noise. I paid attention, damn, because I was scared of it, you know. I was the one who levitated up out of her bed as a child. I didn't have the name at the time, but that's what you do if you're in a yummy. Okay? You know? And y'all know, imagine in the 50s, you didn't get to question your elders about nothing. Okay? You don't get to question your elders about nothing. I remember my mama sitting around with some other women. Excuse me, mama, can you please tell me? And she looked at me and she said, this is a racehorse conversation and no jackasses are allowed. Okay, so So what that made of me was a consummate eavesdropper. Whenever my elders were talking, I looked like I wasn't doing nothing. But I was listening to every word they said. I was watching everything that happened to them. You know, and I'm fortunate, and some of you have the same thing, where you have relatives who have retained certain African beliefs without knowing that that's what it is. Okay, so I watched my mama, who's part, you know, her mama was part Choctaw, right? And we got Haitian influence, and they got all of this stuff that I found out was African, you know. But I watched my mom and the neighbors make rain, okay? I listened to them interpret each other's dreams, and the housewives on TV wasn't doing this stuff. So I knew we were different. They didn't know we were different, but I knew it, okay? And here's the very important thing I want to tell you about your Ori and your relationship to the ancestors. Any question that you sincerely ask and you want to know the answer to, they will control your feet and turn you in that direction. Mm-hmm. Things will begin to happen that is the answer to your question. Do not freak out if you say, well, I want to know something more about my ancestors, and you walk through the library and a book falls on your head to the open page. They do that. I want to know about such and such, and they tell you in a dream, right? Or you meet somebody who can give you that information. You see what I'm saying? You have to know that you are seeking and keep your eyes open for the guides along the path. Okay, I remember my very first reading the Ogun. The man cast it and he said, oh, the ancestors want you to know that they have protected you all this time. I could not argue because y'all know in high school, I was in LA and I was a Del Vite queen. We were the female wing of the Gladiators, baby. You know, and we wore red and white. You know, a red skirt with shorts on underneath, and a white shirt, and a madras handkerchief tied around your head or your neck. You know, and we were bad motherfuckers. Me and my cousins thought we were bad, you know, so LA was divided into certain areas. Baby businessmen over here, Watts over there, Slauson Village over here, Gladiators territory. And we used to go into Slauson Village, throw up our sign, like, fuck with me, yeah, I'm bad, kind of thing. You know how I could have got my head blown off doing that foolishness? You know what I'm saying? And there were times, I remember a very distinct time when I was at a party. It's an outside party, and I see a tree over there, and I see a black man dressed in white peeping from behind the tree. But he's not physical, he's made of light. And I'm high as a kite, y'all. Ain't no sense in me acting like I've been an angel. That don't do y'all no good, right? I'm so high, I'm going, what? That's some good weed, yeah. You know? And without words, I heard him say, go get a taco burger. Now that don't sound like no profound spiritual message, but go get a taco burger. And I'm thinking, shit, they got food here. Why I gotta go get a taco burger? He said, go get a taco burger. I said, far fucking out, man. I'm trying to get y'all to understand what I was like back then, right? Okay? So I head out of the party, And I get about a block up the street, and here come the police. And they stop me. Where are you going? And I lied immediately because I had an uncle around the corner. My uncle was not expecting me. But I gave him my uncle's address, and I said, I'm on my way home, I'm going there. They said, all right, carry on, right? I go get the taco burger, and I go to my own house, which is in another section of town. And the next day, it's in the newspaper that right after I left, there was a shootout at that party. You need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. I can tell you about being in a nightclub, and she who whispered said, tie your shoes. And I bend down to tie my shoes, and a bullet go past my head. And I'm looking, I got slip-on shoes.
Ain't no shoes out. Ain't no shoes out.
You see what I'm saying? They're talking to you every day, in every way, about everything. You just got to pay attention, and all you got to do is sit with a candle and a glass of water at your altar and tell the monkey to shut the fuck up so you can listen. That's all.
Period. Y'all heard it from the Yeye's mouth. The other question I want to ask, because this is a question I get asked all the time. How do I find my godparents? How do I find my elect? I'm just saying what the people be asking me. I be like, don't look over here.
Okay, y'all. Okay, see, now you're kicking me in the gut, right? 30 years ago, I would have said, oh, you can join my elect. Y'all. I'm not too old for that, right? I now think of myself as a material witness to what has been going on. But yeah, we have to be very careful about whose hands we put our spiritual growth in. Okay, I'm gonna be real clear with y'all. There are a lot of charlatans out here because we've gone from being, quote unquote, an illegitimate secret tradition to a global phenomenon. Okay, and one of the unfortunate things about a bright light is it attracts bugs. Okay, there are now people flittering around who don't know a damn thing about the tradition, who know that people are hungry for their spiritual development and who are exploiting it like 9,000, okay? I had a young woman contact me, oh, yeah, I understand you're the only person who can help me. I had a reading and it was terrible. Can you help me? I said, well, what was the Odu? You tell me what the Odu is, maybe I can help you. She said, it was number 117. And I said, what? I've been around the world a couple of times. I done sat with Africans, Brazilians, Cubans, Haitians. I ain't never heard of no 117. What is that? You know, that's not a possibility. You know, no, what? Is somebody trying to say, Okaren, Osai, Otura? What? What the hell, what was that? Okay? And I said, who read you? She said, the Baba at the flea market.
Some of them say, oh, but y'all know y'all be going to the Baba at the flea market sometimes. So y'all got you.
Don't do it. Don't do it. So me being me, I went to the flea market to look for this Baba, right? And what I found was somebody dressed in African clothes who had a great big gourd with 256 calories in the gourd. You know this man don't know what he's doing. He don't know what he's doing. 16 calories, 32 calories, I might have said, well, he's in a different system. But he's got a gourd with 256 calories in it, and he's running his hands through them, and he's mumbling some shit, and then he turns the thing over, and he starts counting calories. And I looked at him and I said, so you're a diviner, huh? You read cowries? I said, you know what? Well, sure, I'm gonna rot your dick. Okay? Okay? You know, that's hot oil. Those cowries belong to Oshun. You ain't got no business fucking with it like that. That's so disrespectful that I went straight vulture on it. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that hurts me, and I really want to say this very, very clearly, especially to the sisters. I have sat with other Iyanifas, and we want to know, why is it that one of us can read for a sister and tell her something and she won't do it, and then she go to a Baba and he'll tell her some foolishness and she'll do it. It's called father hunger. Still looking for daddy. Don't do it, because you get in the hands of the wrong one. He breaks your heart and your body, and then you end up on my doorstep expecting sisters like me to heal you. We have a desperate situation because most people want a mate in their own tradition. But that is being exploited, okay? Here's the real solution to the question, how do I find the right elder? Begin with a relationship with your ancestors. Begin with a relationship with your ancestors. Your ancestors are guides, warriors, and healers. Ask them to guide you to the right person. Ask them to defend you from the charlatans. Ask them to heal you from the wounds you have already acquired, right? And look for a house. In my house, Egon is first, Ori is next, then Orisha. Because there's no Orisha who can do anything for you that your Ori won't accept. There is no Orisha who can do anything for you that your Ori will not accept. I'm going to say that 2 more times. There is nothing that any Orisha can do for you that your Ori will not accept. Elevate your Ori. Honor your ancestors, take their guidance, but elevate your Ori. And then, hear me clearly on this. Any Ile that you walk into where you feel power but you don't feel love, run! Get out as fast as you can. Run, y'all. Run. Okay? From the day that the shells fell and said I would become a priestess, it took me 8 years. And I went through 5 different houses before I found one where I could actually initiate. There's the ones who want power over you. They just want to tell you what to do, even if it contradicts what the oracle is saying. Be real wary of that one. Okay? Then you got the ones who want your money. I had somebody to write me and say, Yeye, I'm about to receive a leg buy, and the Baba says it's going to cost $10,000. I said, hold on a minute. Are you receiving a leg buy on your head? Is this an Ochafa leg buy? Are they bringing priests in from around the world? Do they have to rent some land to take you on your journey? You know, what would this money be for? He said, no, I'm receiving Ibora. He about to receive, you know, the little, for $10,000. I said, baby, somebody yanking your chain, okay? Are you a millionaire? Are you being asked to make a sacrifice to show? He said, no, I'm a working class man. I said, somebody yanking your chain, okay? No, no, no. The price of your ocha should include an education. It should include teaching you how to work with what you've got. I met somebody who had $50,000 worth of pots, didn't know what. I mean, the man had Ocha for 20 years and couldn't throw 4 pieces of coconut. That's insane. That's insane. You know. And then there's the one I had to deal with, the pussy hunters. Okay, if you don't give me some pussy, Shango gonna strike you dead. And I didn't give it to him. That's a famous lie. Shango gonna strike you dead. I could tell y'all some stories about that. You know what I'm saying? And then the one that is really, really painful for people is when you are, and this was me, when you are the object of ridicule in the house. You know, you've been made, but you're not in the in crowd. You ain't doing what everybody else is doing, right? You following your own etat now. You ain't supposed to be just another cow in the herd. Huh? You ain't supposed to be another cow in the herd. So if you not only do you have to find the right Ile, you have to be the right Omo. You have to be the right Omo. You have to be the one who is truly there for your spiritual development. Okay? Some people Ileha. Okay? You come over here to Chantrell and she reads you, and there's some bullshit that you want, and she say, no, Shango say you can't have that. Oh, well, let me go over here and hit on Mama Coco. And Mama Coco reads, and she said, that shit ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Well, let me try Yeye Teish. And I say, you've been told twice. The oracle done told me that you've been told twice, and you don't want to, so get out of my face. And they keep doing it until they find somebody who is willing to take their money and lie to them. Okay? When you're reading the shells, you can tell if somebody's been read before. You can tell if you have a hard head, or you got a hard head in front of you. You can tell if somebody's pretending. And so, it's like I have to say, no. No. I had somebody come to me to try to get me to do something that my elder wouldn't do. If the person who's teaching me told you no, why are you coming to me with this? You see what I'm saying? People play games. Now, let me say this. For those of you who are sincerely looking, you got a number of things to contend with. First of all, you got to contend with loneliness, right? There's only so many people that you can talk to sanely about this stuff. Item number 2, patience. Oh my God. 8 years it took me to make before I found a place where I could honestly make Ocha, okay? The next thing is we have so few places in this culture where we can preen, and we are preening people, right? That sometimes folks get into the tradition because it makes you beautiful. I want you to think about that, okay? I've had people in other traditions say to me, is there something about Orisha worship is it that only beautiful people join Orisha? Or is there something about working with Orisha that makes you beautiful? Yeah, working with Orisha makes you beautiful if you are doing what they tell you to do. Because the word glamour, the real definition of the word glamour is gla amor. The shining of the love within shines out. Gla amor. Not just the pasty shit you put on top of you, but what's going on inside. And gla amor is one of the gifts of Oshun. We want to be beautiful. Okay? But it's been misconstrued as something to be exploited. And especially the drumming and the dancing is such an antidepressant. It is so good for our spirits that sometimes there are people who just come for the party. They just come for the party. And in order to, to weed them out, it used to be in San Francisco, you have a bembe, and then afterwards you'd have a Roomba, right? And I look up and there are people sitting around, the bembe is happening here, people sitting around here sipping rum, waiting for the Roomba. So I cut the Roomba out. Don't come here expecting the Roomba. You're here for Orisha, we gonna worship Orisha now. You want a Roomba, I'll meet you down the street. I had to force a different caliber of person to come to my bembe, okay? Now, the question is, how do you find the right elay and the right elder? Be guided by your ancestors, right? Be certain of the quality of your ori and pay attention to what's going on around you. It is very easy to get caught up in the rhythm of the house. If you find yourself competing with other members for the attention of the Yada Baba, you're in the wrong place. There's a whole lot of jealousy and foolishness, you're in the wrong place. If you feel like the elders are abusing you, you're in the wrong place. And my mama used to tell me, it is better to be alone than to be in bad company. Okay? But first, make sure that your spiritual development is your real reason for doing this. You can't get in my house without me consulting your ancestors to be sure that they really support you being here. And then you have to do a ritual with a legba for him to let you in. If you're receiving a lekesh, you have to understand you now belong to this family, okay? And the people who've made Ocha with me, some of them gonna tell you some tales about Yeye shaving their head twice. Somebody took her gele off before she was supposed to and had the nerve enough to dye her hair. I said, come in, guess what? You're gonna do this all over again. Yeah, you wanna go out? Oh, your mat is on the floor with your cup and your saucer. I don't care if we're in a public restaurant. No, you ain't going to nobody's party unless I go there and clean the door sill first. You want a real old-fashioned yeah? Here I am. Be warned. Be warned, okay? But the important thing is for the elders who have knowledge and who are willing to share it, I am very interested in, I have a group, and I've done this before, called the Elegant Elders Circle, right? And in 2023, two things I'm going to be doing is facilitating intergenerational dialogues between elders and younger people, right? We really, really need that, yeah. We really need that. We really need that. And I'm going to be encouraging people to do the money pouring ritual every new moon. It's in Jambalaya. Because these people plan for y'all to be broke, and it ain't happening in Oshun's village.
Ashe, oh. Before I open it up to the audience, because there's so many questions. Always, y'all know brevity is not my strong point at all. I'm a child of Shango. What can I say? Kawo, Kabilo Sile. What's the, because you've shared a lot of gems, what has been the biggest lesson you've learned on your journey? What's been the biggest lesson you've learned on your journey?
Humility, y'all. Humility, okay? So I deliberately educate myself. I take every opportunity I can to learn. You know, if I don't know something, I'll go ask for who might know. But here's the late breaking news. Every time I imagine that I know enough, Legba say, really? Check that shit. Look at that. Ooh. Did you know? You see what I'm saying? A new way. Sometimes they tell you you have to reinitiate yourself every day. You have to be willing to learn. I can imagine learning something right up to the last day here on earth, right? But you should never get to the place where you think, I'm such hot shit that there's nothing greater than me, or that I can't learn from somebody else, or I have a thing against what's called the hierarchy of human value. Okay. Somebody decided that I'm more human than this brother right here. That's a damn lie. We're both human. We're both human. And we must always, always remember that. And most importantly, we must remember that we are all spirit. So for me, renewing the humility is my safeguard, because the few times that I have been, you know the term wahala, okay? You know what I'm saying? What I figured out is wahala is a combination of ignorance and arrogance. That combination is a very bad one. If you are ignorant and humble, you can learn something, okay? The only time you should be arrogant, and I had to look the word up, to be arrogant is to be proudly defiant. Proudly defiant. There are times when I am proudly arrogant in the face of white supremacy, in the face of sexism, in the face of economic exploitation. Oh yeah, I'm arrogant. And the bitch will tell you, you can't do that shit to me. Right? But when you need to learn something, when you're trying to stretch and grow, there's no room for arrogance at all, because you can never learn there. So I have to say, my greatest teacher has been humility, and recognizing that whatever you know, there's still more to know.
Thank you for the gift. Can y'all give Yeye a round of applause? My God. I mean, she ain't done yet, but I'm gonna stand up and give her a standing ovation.